All right, joining us now, reoccurring guest, the very first guest ever of the Autumn Windbags. We thought, okay, we're like, all right, oh man, our numbers are going down. People aren't paying attention. We got to come back with the zinger. We got to come back hard and strong. Joining us now, half of the Pat McAfee Show, Super Bowl champion, first round pick, All-American, national champion football, Aaron James Hawk. How you doing, AJ?
What's up, guys? Yeah, good to be back with you, especially when we're about to actually have NFL football. It's exciting. I feel like it was never going to get here, so yeah, it's a great time of the year, I think.
Yeah, the NFL has mastered the making things that aren't that significant feel significant because it's more significant than the thing before.
All year round, too. Yeah,
it's like,
all year.
Because it's like, okay, the draft, and then it's free agency, and then OTAs, and then preseason, and it's like, none of those things are important, but preseason means more than OTAs, and OTAs mean more than free agency. So it's like, yeah, it's not that important, but it's more important than the thing that I was excited about last month. So it keeps getting more and more important until we get to opening day coming up in 3 weeks.
Man, I haven't really thought of it like that, but it does make a lot of sense. Like everything is a little bit, it's such a step, like a progression from, okay, Super Bowl's over, everyone's depressed, football's gone. Well, hey guys, they're going to be having the combine coming here soon, and then there's the Senior Bowl. You can watch some of your favorite college guys play, and then boom, the draft. Like, wasn't it there's stats out there that I think more people watch the NFL combine than the NBA Finals?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's every year, but it shows you how football, for whatever reason, people just enjoy watching everything, every aspect. You got to give the NFL credit when it comes to that and their TV deals for sure.
Yeah, it's like building a good combat sports card, like a UFC or boxing card. Like you got Conor McGregor at the end. And so man, I can't believe I'm so excited to watch Nico Montano in this prelim, but it's just building up, right? It's it's a Conor McGregor card, but I'm just starting here. Conor cards don't mean as much as they used to these days. Now he's gone off his rocker, but you get what I'm saying. It's a slow burn.
Oh, you stole my line. Slow burn.
Yeah. I'm not talking about your penis, Soto. I'm talking about
that's a hard burn. That's a fast burn.
So now that it's preseason,
only when you pee, right?
Only when you pee.
Sometimes.
Now that it's preseason, how much can we get out of watching preseason? Like for the Raiders specifically, third string quarterback starting, only 2 starters on offense, only 2 starters on defense. They played 1 quarter and that was it. But my take was, well, we have a brand new defensive coordinator in Gus Bradley. Maybe we can kind of get an idea of the scheme, kind of get the feel of the team, the mojo of the team. Am I just scraping for reasons to care, or is there something to that?
I think there's, each team you kind of have to look at individually in positions. I think the most intriguing part this whole preseason that I'm actually looking forward to is watching all these young quarterbacks get a chance, like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, all these dudes that are out there. I think you can really see when they're out there and just how they command the huddle. Like Justin Fields, they've always talked about how from day one in Chicago, he just seems to have a presence about him, and he's a natural born leader and all of that. I think that's what you can get from watching some of these young guys in the preseason. I mean, vet quarterbacks usually don't do a whole lot. I don't think you can get anything watching them, but when you have a new coordinator, like you said, in Gus Bradley, you can definitely get a feel on what your defense may look like that year. Now, early in camp, in preseason, you're very vanilla, and they only run a couple coverages and maybe a few blitzes, nothing really exotic. They don't want to show anything, but you can definitely get a feel on what it's going to look like and what that team may look like. Really, you can kind of see the culture and is this a team that is all buttoned up and Patriots or is this a Pete Carroll type team where they're all juiced and they're having fun and dancing on the sidelines? You can really kind of get an idea of what they may look like during the season.
Yeah, the defense looked really fast. Especially the secondary, even though there's a lot of backups there, they looked really fast and they were in tune. There was no Spider-Man meme where everyone's pointing at each other with the ball in the air, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, what should a fan be looking at? Let's say position battles or younger guys, which they'd be looking at in the preseason.
I mean, I'd want to. Well, first off, if you want to be entertained, watch, especially when these early games, and then even into the last preseason game, which with only 3, it's going to be different. Usually, it was always the 4th one where guys would just be absolutely gassed because they're taking every rep. You got guys playing every play on defense, and then a lot of times almost every special team rep, and that's after a long training camp, and they just will run dudes into the ground. And that if you want to watch something that's entertaining, pick out a couple guys that you see are never coming off the field and just see how it progresses, how they look in the third and fourth quarter, and realize like, hey man, this dude is in unbelievable shape, but he is running a triathlon out there and he's getting his head knocked off in between it. Like that's fun to watch. But yeah, position battles I think are something you can keep an eye on. But you also have to, it's like some guys play a lot harder than others in the preseason. Like vets, there's a lot of vets who, even when they're in, they're not, it's football. You can't this is why the Pro Bowl sucks to watch, because you can't half-ass football. There's no half-speed football. So you have to go full go or you're going to get hurt, just to protect yourself. So even in the preseason you do. And when vets are in there, like they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to put any bad tape out there. So they're going to be playing hard, even if they're in for 1 series, 2 series, whatever. I remember we played in Kansas City a preseason game one year, and our D coordinator told us it was the 4th preseason game, I believe. He said, hey, you guys have 1 series, no matter how many plays it is. First play of the series of the game, Tremont Williams gets a pick, and we carried him off like we won the Super Bowl because we knew we were out. We were done for the day. So we were 1 and done thanks to Tremont, and he was a hero for that day.
Yeah, you can't throw any Tim Tebow blocks out there. Like there's no half-ass.
Tough, man.
Is Gruden going to bring him in, you think?
I mean, we have the best tight end room in football, so I don't even know if that would be a very Jon Gruden move, though, wouldn't it?
Team Chaplin, maybe. Team Chaplin.
Right? I bet Gruden is into. I'm sure I haven't heard Gruden talk about Tebow, but I can see him being really into Tebow and just loving like his vibe and what he does.
I love.
I hope not.
I love the Tebow experiment only because I flirted with being if I was 6'2", 260, like I'd be an NFL linebacker. Like that's the only thing holding me back. I'm just 5'9", 180, right? And you're just like, all right, here's Tim Tebow, huge dude, played football his entire life. And he just looked absolutely atrocious as a tight end. It's like, yeah, he has all the physical tools. He clearly has the mind for football. And even he can't even be on a preseason game amongst 3rd and 4th stringers and not embarrass himself. It's just like, all right. It's like when CM Punk fought in the UFC, or when, it's just nice to have not even a civilian in there to show you the level of football that's going on. Like a genuinely really good football player can't play football on this level.
Yeah, and a guy that has made a bunch of plays and definitely made some big plays in the NFL, although a different position. Yeah, when I saw these clips come out from Tim in camp, and then the first game when he's trying to get the block in the hole, and then the very next play, and just everything happening. I started thinking what did everyone think was going to happen? The guy, think about, and that's not even a slight on Tim. The guy's making a position change. He's playing a position that he's never played in his life. The dude grew up if you hear stories of old Tebow from back in Florida when he was a kid, from age 3 on, they knew this dude was Jesus, in more ways than one. He was doing everything, I feel like. And so he's always been that quarterback / athlete. And then, oh, hey, you go play tight end, try to block some of these big old monster DNs, try to hold up he had a punt protection drill I saw that they put out, which, yeah, I had to do it 1,000,000 times, but that's the thing. I've done it 1,000,000 times in practice. Yeah. Tim's probably done it 10 times now after being in camp in Jacksonville. So it's definitely an uphill battle. Yeah, you can't just throw your head in there. Takes years and years of little tricks. And that's the other thing that happens. Guys that have been around for a little while, you do learn little tricks on what not to do, what you can do. And you can see if a guy's new and he's all juiced up and you can olay him, make him miss, just little things like that. It's not easy at all what Tim was trying to do. And I wonder if Jacksonville ever felt okay, this guy's going to make the team. I wonder if there was ever a moment when they felt like it was going to work out. But I mean, we see what happened, and almost an impossible task, I feel for Tim to go out there and try to make it as a tight end that doesn't play special teams too. If you're a 3rd string tight end, you got to play all the special teams, and Tim hasn't ever done that. So it's not a thing. You wouldn't keep a guy like that if he couldn't play all the special teams.
It's a nice little scheme to sell a bunch of unrefundable jerseys, though.
Genius, right? They sold a
bring Tebow in for a week,
$4 million worth of jerseys.
Cut him. You don't have to pay him a dime, and then bam, you're out. It's maybe the Raiders should pick him up. Add a couple million.
That owner, that the owner isn't he building a $450 million complex down there in Jacksonville too for Urban. So yeah, I mean Tim paid for a little wing of that, I guess, with his jersey sales.
There should be a nice big plaque at the entrance. This pillar brought to you by Tim Tebow. It's just a GIF Like a video gif of him trying to make that block.
Oh,
Statue of him bouncing off.
Oh, come on, JR.
Now the rough part, the hard part about that was when he stood up and he hit his own guy with his head, like he
Yeah.
headbutted his own
Oh,
lineman. That was the hardest part. I was like, oh, I feel for you there, man. I've been
yeah.
there at times.
That sucked.
Just like butt straight out, reaching, like his arms straight out, reaching, like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
tough.
So the Raiders are doing a co-practice with the Rams today and tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. And I always thought that like these joint practices are more valuable than even preseason, because the starters don't play preseason, but all the starters play these joint practices. So maybe it's not 100%, like you still can't touch the quarterback, but I'd much rather have I'd much rather know what Andre James, our brand new center, can do against Aaron Donald versus our third string center versus some third string nose tackle. Like when you did, I don't know how often you did joint practices when you were at Green Bay, AJ, but like I feel like as a fan / like analyst of it, I get more out of watching joint practices than preseason.
I think you absolutely will. A lot of times it'll look more intense too than some preseason games, like when the ones-on-ones. Because when I was in Green Bay for 9 years, we didn't have any joint practices. McCarthy didn't do that back then. They started to do it now when LaFleur came in. But my 1 year, played it for the Bengals for one season. We practiced with the Giants when they had OBJ. It was Coughlin, maybe one of his last years there. And I thought it was valuable. We came in, it was new to me, my 10th year in the league, and my first time practicing with the team. We were playing them, like 3 days later in the preseason game. So they came in, we practiced twice with them. And yeah, you're absolutely right. When those coaches are evaluating guys that may be on the bubble, or, hey, is this guy still a starter or not? Like they're looking at the film of those joint practices. And also if you're not doing joint practices, all the situations your coach sets up during camp, it's really the only time during the year where you're going to go ones-on-ones, the starting offense versus starting defense, and they're going to put you in every situation, 2-minute drill, backed up, goal line. You're going to do all that, and a lot of times, I mean, the rules have changed a lot, but a lot of times that's when you go full go, take everybody to the ground, obviously never touch a quarterback in the league. That'd be stupid in practice, but those are super intense drills where sometimes you have some of the biggest collisions of the year, like when you're doing 11-on-11, ones-on-one goal line during training camp, and there's fans there and everything. It feels like a game. Like guys are trying to kill everybody. They're all trying to take each other's heads off, and it's just a goal line period. So I think you can learn a lot from your team just by watching that.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of fights anymore in preseason games, but you see a lot of fights in those joint practices.
Oh yeah.
They're fun. I thought we would have a few with the Giants, but they in the Bengals team I was on, we had a fun team too. I mean, Pac-Man Jones, Vontaze Burfict, we had these guys, Ray Maluga. The guys are not messing around. They didn't let anyone push us around, but it was pretty good. We had a few little like dust ups, I'd call it, where guys would start to, and then the coaches knew like, all right, this is a volatile situation. We got to shut this down now, or we could have a full blown brawl between these two teams. So it wasn't bad, but you know how coaches though, like they got to act like they hate it. No, we don't want everyone to fight. This is terrible. They're going to get kicked out of a game, but secretly they all love it.
They're like taking bets before, like, all right, I think Donald's going to take a swing at Leatherwood. Yeah. You brought up Mike McCarthy. He was obviously your coach in Green Bay. Your entire career, right? The whole time you're in Green Bay, he was the coach, right? You both came in the same year. Now he's in Dallas, and we're seeing him in Hard Knocks. And I was watching the last episode last night, and it's funny because he talks so different to a group than when he's one-on-one. Like when he's talking to like Zeke or Dak, it's almost like he's like kind of like cowers over. It's like, hey Zeke, what you think you maybe want to do that? Like, is that how he is? Just like, no wonder no one listens to him if he just talks like he's like a little mouse, like just kind of afraid to like raise his voice to anybody.
Now, like I now that you say that, I do notice it from watching the first episode, especially. I think he might be just aware of being mic'd up, and he's uncomfortable being mic'd up when they're having cameras around. I knew going in when I heard they were doing Hard Knocks, I'm like, oh, this is great for Jerry, and it's great because I want to watch Mike. But then I instantly thought, oh my gosh, he absolutely despises this. He doesn't want to wear a mic. He doesn't want cameras to be like GoPros set up in your staff meetings, where I feel like that stuff is sacred. What you're saying, you don't want that out, and they put a lot of that stuff out on HBO. So I think he may take some time to get used to having the cameras around, the mics around. Like when players get mic'd up throughout the year during games, and players claim that they're like, oh man, I got mic'd up. Now I forgot I was mic'd up halfway through. And then if you actually watch, like they show you the footage of them, like, oh yeah, except for you're speaking maybe 14 times more than you normally do in a game. So yeah, I'm sure you just forgot you were mic'd up in the second half.
Yeah, like Jon Gruden is at home when those
he
those Hard Knock cameras were around. He was just like Like this is like ground zero for him. He's like ready to rock.
Holding
Not
court.
McCarthy. Yeah.
Now, McCarthy,
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch McCarthy as Hard Knocks goes on. I'm sure he'll get more and more comfortable with it, but I'm sure he is. Man, I would love to watch his face when Jerry called him and told him that they got Hard Knocks. It probably was not great.
Yeah, Jonathan Abram was mic'd up a couple, like maybe a week ago, and he walked up to like every single player and coach, "Hey, I'm mic'd up today, man. Hey, I'm mic'd up. I'm mic'd up."
Guys get mad, man. If you don't tell them, like in a game, you better pat your chest or something. Especially in a game, a guy will come up to talk to you, or even like a front office guy. Execs would come up, and then I know I had a few different guys that were like front office dudes, and on the sideline during a game, and they'd come up to me, and if I didn't mention it in the first like 10 seconds, and then they found out I was mic'd up, or I waited 10 seconds. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they'd get pissed. You got to tell them right away because it could. Who knows what you're going to say, and then who knows what they put out or that gets out there.
Damn. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it makes sense.
So you were the voice of reason the entire Aaron Rodgers drama that was unfolding all off season. You're like the whole time. You're like, I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play. He's obviously disgruntled about something, but I think he's going to play. He didn't miss a single day, a single minute of anything that was required of him. Did he tell you that? Did you just kind of have a feel for it? Or you just kind of know football where, players like to like make a scene sometimes, or like try to get their message across. And sometimes it feels like no one's listening. So they got to do something drastic.
Yeah. His whole situation was so weird how it came about. I didn't see that coming. And then it was the morning of the draft, right? I think when Adam Schefter, and then later said,
what a coincidence.
Yeah. And Schefter said, Schefter, I guess, came out and said it was an accumulation of information that he had gathered like over the last 6 months or something. Like, oh, so nothing like happened for you to say this today. So when it got out, I was obviously surprised, but I was driving. I had to drive that night to go to the Kentucky Derby with Aaron. So I'm like, wow. I was driving there with my wife. I'm like, oh, this is perfect timing. This whole bombshell drops. Now we're going Friday morning to the Kentucky Derby, walking to there's races all day Friday that you go to. And so we're walking into that whole firestorm.
Sure.
And I never even talked to him. I talked to him all the time, but I never like sat there and had much conversation about what he was doing in Green Bay, what's going on. He never had to tell me like straight up or anything. I'm coming back or whatever. He never said that, but I just from being around him, I'm like, yeah, there's no way this dude's leaving. Like, there's no way he's retiring. I know he claims now, or he says that he definitely thought about retirement. I'm sure he did. I don't know how serious he did, but I just can't see the dude. I just couldn't see what options there were either. Like, I couldn't see the Packers trading him. I was like, I think I even told him, like, why would they ever? Yeah, you can be as mad as you want, but if I don't care, you can hate me all you want. If I'm running that team, I'm making you play for the Packers. I'm not letting you get away. I've seen how good you are. You just won the MVP and you still have plenty left. So I was like, why would they ever get rid of you? There's no way. Yeah. So I just couldn't see a plan where all of a sudden this happened, like before this year. They're like, okay, well, Aaron's playing for Denver or whoever. He got traded here. Like, I just didn't see anything like that happening when we were, especially as we got closer and closer to camp. I'm like, something's got to happen one way or the other soon, right? And then, bam, they figured it out. And I don't know. I'm hoping that they go and they kill it this year, and Aaron finds a way to want to hang around for 5-10 more years.
What's a road trip like with Aaron Rodgers? Is he demanding to like man the radio? Is he just sleeping in the back? Has a pull over every 2 hours for him to pee? I bet he's just one of the guys that just sleeps the whole time.
He would definitely, he would sleep the whole time, no question. But no, he's so he's like an intellectual. He's always into, like, he loves that Sudoku, which I don't even understand Sudoku. He'll do Sudokus for 3 hours straight for some reason, crosswords, all those things. He's into all the little brain stuff, I think, and he thinks about how it's going to help his brain, his recall. He does have like unbelievable, crazy Rain Man type recall of plays and events and things that happen on the field. He'll remember all kinds of stuff that nobody, I think, could ever remember, even if they wrote it down. Aaron doesn't have to write it down. It's just how his brain works. But yeah, no, he's fun, man. He's going to be joining Pat and I on Tuesdays again this year. We had him every Tuesday last season. He's going to come back this year. So that should hopefully start here in a few weeks. And he's usually pretty open and honest. I think too, as he's gotten older, it's cool to see. I saw this happen with Kobe. I feel like at some point in Kobe's career, he just stopped caring and he said whatever he wanted to the media. Remember, you'd see these clips and Kobe's cussing and he's being so honest. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, how great is this that he's opening up? And I feel like Aaron's at that same stage. Like, Aaron's like, this is, hey man, like I got nothing to hide. I just want to have fun, enjoy my life and enjoy myself. And I feel like he doesn't care really what's going on around him. He never really has, but now I think he's just being available. He's being more open. He's just giving his opinion and letting people know. I mean, if you saw that press conference when he got back, he just kind of annihilated the front office there. And even though everyone was congratulating everyone that we made it back, we're good to go. And then he just let everybody know, hey, everything's not perfect around here. I'm just going to let you know. And then,
when you've accomplished that much as a player, I mean, short of burying a body, you can pretty much say whatever you want, do whatever you. It's like you've already put your career on tape. You can't. No one can take that away from you. So you can. I guess you could be a little bit more free.
You should. I mean, especially if you're Aaron Rodgers too, and like, hey, there's not really anyone else out there that can do what I can do. Now, obviously, we know how great Mahomes and Tom Brady and everybody is, but like all those guys are so special in their own way, and other people can't duplicate it. And who knows what guys will look like in the future. But man, what Aaron can do on the field, and also his presence, what it brings to the locker room and to every single player on that team and every coach. Like, it makes the coaches better even because Aaron's there, and you're not going to be messing around. Like, guys, he's not going to let people get away with stuff. He doesn't have to be like a dictator. He doesn't have to say anything. I think you fall in line. People get there and they realize, like, oh man, like you are. I think especially offensive guys, they're nervous. Like, they don't want to make a mistake and get called out, or even like, it's not like he's going to yell at them. Just for the quarterback to know that, oh man, maybe I can't count on my right guard. He jumped in walkthrough on Wednesday this week. Like, you don't want to be that guy.
I wonder what Rodgers is going to do during retirement, because he basically lives the life of a retired guy now. Sudoku, crossword puzzles, Jeopardy,
shuffleboard now. Maybe I guess you add to it. Yeah,
he's going to have to if he just picks up bingo, it's just like, all right, well, what do you could possibly do when you're retired? You're living the life already.
Just keep growing it. He'll keep growing his hair out and growing his beard out, and then eventually just be super long gray hair and gray beard. It looks sweet, wouldn't he?
Right. When I see him at a park feeding ducks, that's when I know it's like, all right, he can't go any further. Support for the Autumn Windbags is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. The champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with its exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code Windbags at manscaped.com. Love my Manscaped. It's great. I wish I had it back when I was doing jujitsu, because when you do jujitsu tournaments, you want to shave your legs because it makes it slipperier, hard to get a grip on, stuff like that. And so I would just like use like my old hair trimmer, just do it, and then I would shave. That would be great too for like full body grooming, not just for your twig and berries, but especially for athletes. Remember also in high school, like in football, I'd have to tape my ankles. So I would just like shave my legs so I didn't get hair on them all the time. Great for that because it lasts a long time, right? I would just run through razors constantly because I was just like shaving these big, thick leg hairs because I was an athlete. Wish I had it back then, Soto.
Yeah. And look, Manscaped is known for their, ball trimmers or whatever, but they have a lot of different products, man. Mm-hmm. So go check out the website, see anything out and grab. You think, they have, the ball toner, or the aftershave ball toner. If you're steadfast, a straight razor type of guy, body wash, cologne, even foot deodorant, and all kinds of stuff. So go check them out for all your men's grooming needs. Check out Manscaped. It's not just the ball trimmers. They have nose hair. If you got a lot of nose hairs like RJ just picked right now, just get 20% off and free shipping with the code Windbags at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code Windbags. Unlock the confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
This fucking taunting rule this season. It's like I can't see any rational reason for it. Like I think it was the Colts preseason game, and some third string running back. It's like a 10-yard game, runs over a safety, puts down the football, kind of like flexes, says 2 words, walks away, bam, flag. It's like, one, I don't understand what the appeal is. Like, who are they trying to appeal to with this? And 2, I wonder which franchise of the 32 that the refs are going to love to throw the flag against the most. Like, this is like, I'm not Mr. Conspiracy Theory, but that silver and black is going to have like 20 penalties a game.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Well, I want to know if is it going to die down when the regular season starts? They've done this in the past when they try to have these points of emphasis, and then wasn't a couple years ago they started calling holding everywhere in the preseason. But then when the regular season happened, they didn't really do it, and they kind of played itself out. If they stick with this taunting thing, and I know John Mara's up there talking about how we're sick and tired of this taunting or whatever. Like, does the NFL have a taunting problem? I'm not aware of it. If we feel like everyone's just getting up and standing over top of people and flexing and punking them, like, I feel like there's a healthy amount of respect between players that doesn't really happen very often.
Well, it's like, I'm allowed to tackle you to the floor, crush your ribs, give you a concussion, tackle your legs, blow out your knee. But if I call you a poopy face, well, no, that's not allowed. There's no place for that.
Or if you're too excited too. Like, what if you're just a guy makes a play and he's super excited and he happens to be too close to the person he just tackled or whatever? Then that's the taunting. And I'm like, well, it's not even his direction. I was just excited. Like, this is my
showing emotion,
my life dream. And here I just executed that. Got excited for a split second. All of a sudden you're giving me a penalty like that. I want to see if that happens. It'll be terrible, man, if people lose games because of a call like this late in the game.
Yeah, man. Like, I scored a touchdown my sophomore year in JV football. And it's like, I was half a second away from taking off my pants and helicoptering my dick around. Imagine getting a touchdown, like a game-winning touchdown in an NFL game. Like, the joy going through your body. Like, how do you, like, it's impossible to like hold that in. Like, it's your dream. You're doing this since you were 8 years old. And now you're doing it in front of fans for millions of dollars with millions of people watching. It's like, all right, better control that. No fun allowed. It's like, God, I don't
emotion,
get it.
right?
Yeah.
No emotion. But yeah. If guys were doing what you said, or if they were out there helicoptering their meat around, then I understand if this would be a point of emphasis, but we haven't seen that yet. Maybe somebody will try.
As soon as the meat is helicoptered, then a rule like this would make sense. Like, that's your line, you know?
Let's get John Mayer Goodell to say that. Let's get him to commit to that. Like, if we see it get to that level, then we'll come to this.
Yeah. Well, the rotational meat rule. The RMR,
like the elbows. Like, what elbows are banned in MMA? It's like your meat has to go certain,
can't do the 12 to 6.
Exactly. Yeah, you can do the back and forth like in kids, but as soon as it's a rotational 360-degree move, that's just uncalled for. Now you're just taunting. Now you're making fun of somebody.
Figured it out. There we go.
Yeah. I should be on the rules committee.
So you were a vet going into a new team, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders have a couple of vets going in on defense, Yannick Ngakoue, and just signed Gerald McCoy. What does that bring to the rest of the team when you have a player like yourself and like these guys who've made plays in the league who are coming into a new defense?
Well, hey, both those guys can play, man. They've both made a ton of plays, and Ngakoue, that dude is super like explosive off the edge. I love watching him. And McCoy, that guy seems like he's been making plays for the last 20 years in the league. I know he's not that old. But yeah, I think like that coming in, like I said about having an Aaron or a Tom Brady, kind of other people fall in line. They don't want to let vets down. I know, at least from when I was in the league, like when I'm watching these older guys that I've seen on TV or maybe watched when I was in high school and I'm playing with them, I'm like, man, I just want to make sure I'm accountable to them. Like, I don't want to be the weak link in the 11 guys we have out here on defense. So I think it's huge for that. And when you have guys that are playing the D line too, that can kind of set the tone. And D linemen are always, like, usually there's no, like, nothing's black and white. You can't paint everybody with a broad brush, but D linemen are usually the loudest and most fun group when it comes to like position groups. The D line room, it seems to always be like they're next door to us. You always be banging on the walls, and they're laughing and they're talking about something, messing with somebody, and they always go out there and seem to have a ton of fun together too. It's just something about D linemen seem to be really tight and have a lot of fun. So I think when you have guys like that you're bringing that are vets, I think it even adds a little bit more to the team. And we know Gruden loves having vets around too. So they can kind of get his message across through them too.
How much does front office turmoil affect what's actually happening on the field? Because the Raiders lost their team president quit, like a bunch of executives quit. There's like internal investigations going on, like a lawsuit. Like, they're being tight-lipped about it, but it feels like there's anarchy in the front office. And that made me worry, like, okay, what's this going to mean for the team? Like, how much is like turmoil in the front office actually affect the on-field product, if at all?
I mean, it usually doesn't affect the players really. If it affects anybody, I'm sure it affects the head coach the most because he has to deal with them. But players don't really have to deal with front office people too much unless you're trying to negotiate a new contract or they're cutting you. Yeah. So it could definitely affect the players in the play on field if they get like if players don't trust the front office and they feel like, hey, they're moving on from people earlier, or they're not giving or if they get like a reputation for being cheap and not not offering your free agents, like guys that you drafted that you want to re-sign, and all of a sudden you're losing them to other teams because they won't step up to the plate and pay them what they deserve. That could definitely happen. But with people resigning and leaving, I don't know. What is happening out there? Does anyone do people not want to live in Vegas?
So for money, guys, it started with Bourdain, the president. He'd been the president he'd been with the organization for like 30 years. And he just up and quit. No no handoff plan, nothing. He just up and quit. And then the next week, his right-hand man, Day, was his name Day?
Yeah.
And two other of his close guys, who all four of them were like basically money guys, quit, just up and quit with no signal, no sign, no nothing. And now there's an investigation. I guess the Raiders are investigating themselves basically on what happened. And I have no one has any, and now we know why no one's saying anything, because I mean,
none of the beat writers,
you can't.
Nobody's saying anything.
Are they speculating? Are they even speculating?
There's
what
nothing, because no one knows anything. Wow. And it's like, I understand the Raiders are kind of tight-lipped, but that's before stuff happened. Once stuff happened, and then like you ask them afterwards, they'll tell you, but no one's saying anything. It's weird.
It has to be a lawsuit of some kind. That's all, because you got a law firm coming in and investigating yourself, right? So it's like, all right, let's get everything documented, get all our ducks in a row for when this thing goes to court or goes to, whatever, they have everything there. It's like, oh, great, wonderful. That's exactly what we want heading into the season. Anarchy in the front office.
Is Mayock? Do they ask Mayock about it? I would imagine.
I imagine he's been asked, but he hasn't said anything. He hasn't come out anywhere.
Yeah, I guess you can't. They can easily just say, "I can't. It's an ongoing investigation. I can't speak." Right. So we'll find out eventually. Just probably not anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, if you get any friends in that front office that may know anything, AJ, and you want to do some sleuthing, really make a name for yourself as a journalist.
I'll let you know.
Big J journalist, AJ Hawk. That would be great. That'll be your breakout role.
Let me see what I can do. Let me go over let me look at their website and see if I know anybody on the staff.
Is that
so sweet?
What are you trying to pursue the most? Like, obviously you got this fantastic platform with Pat McAfee and all those other things you're doing. Is that like play-by-play, just radio, TV, journalistic stuff, kind of? Like, what are you trying to get into?
I mean, I've bounced around doing everything, all different kinds of different radio and Sirius. Did an MMA show with you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But now this thing I'm doing with Pat McAfee's 5 days a week, and that's basically my main thing right now. And we had all kind of plans. Well, we have plans whenever we can get back out there to do different live shows and different things like that. So we have a lot of stuff that we want to do, hopefully here coming up this season and moving on from there. But I was supposed to do some, I should say I worked as a color analyst for college games over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to do some this year, and I'm actually not going to do them. Mainly, I mean, a big part of it is because my kids are getting older, so they all have games every weekend all the time, and I'd be gone for 14 weekends, and I just don't want to do that. And because luckily enough with my thing I do with Pat, it's an everyday show. It's on 5 days a week. It's plenty for me, and it's fun. I enjoy it. I love it, and we're going to continue to do more. So right now, that's like my main thing I want to do, and I don't have to travel, so it's huge for me.
Yeah, dadding. AJ, you're always dadding.
Oh yeah, I want to say super coaching. Dad is always the first one.
I'm coaching football. Yeah, I'm assistant coach for my son. He's playing tackle football for the first time this year.
Oh yeah,
and so I'm assistant coach. So like that, we have 3-4 practices a week. We're gonna have games on Sundays. So yeah, like that alone is plenty for me.
So who's the head coach? Like, who's got a better resume to be the coach of this kid's football team? So you have to like answer to somebody. Please tell me it's just some like overweight dad that only played JV football. Please tell me that.
Our coaching staff, it's funny. So no, he asked me to be an assistant. My son really wanted me to coach because I've never really coached their things because I'm a terrible coach. I'm not good at it. So I've told him that, and they know it. I'm better just to sit and clap and give positive encouragement on the side. But so the head coach is my buddy I played with in college. He's a couple years older than me, another linebacker. And so he asked me, he has 2 kids on the team. So I said, yeah, I'll coach. And then his dad coached at Ohio State for about 25 years, and then left in 2001 right before I got there and he's been coaching in the league the last 15 years, just got out a couple years ago. He coached outside backers with the Broncos with Von Miller and all. Like, he's coached some studs. He's a great coach. He's our other coach. And then our other coach is actually Steve Bellisari, whose son's on the team, and Steve was a quarterback at Ohio State before me.
Yeah, my head coach in high school played high school football.
guess what? But people say that to us like, oh man, you guys are gonna be so good. I was like, hey, we're not taking one snap, guys. Like we're not doing anything. Like
see all these little kids and then AJ Hawk.
Like we're not doing anything, but they gotta find a way to execute whatever plan we give them. So we'll see how it goes this year.
AJ suits up, but he's holding like a giant lollipop and puts like the helicopter top on the helmet. He's like, no, I'm just a little kid, just here to play some football. Are you like a different person when you're coaching? So it's like you're like your nice dad, AJ, at home, and then you're on the football field with your son. You're like, you fucking maggot! I need you to tackle with your head up.
I don't. So like, I don't go to that extreme with them. Okay. I'm pretty calm on the field. I'm super positive guy for some reason. I just have a hard time telling kids they did stuff better, or if they like, we do like these open field tackling drills, and the kid will like have great effort and miss a tackle, and then if like someone wants to yell at him, like, man, that's a very difficult tackle this kid is trying to do. Like, let's just not make this such a big deal. And I try to pump him up and help him out. But with my son, yeah, he has gotten. And my 8-year-old, he's like, he's such a good kid and kind-hearted, good dude, and loves football, loves hitting, tries to take every single rep. And like, if he gets so disappointed, if he misses a tackle or he feels like he didn't get the best of a dude, and he like quasi freaks out, so I have to calm him down during practice. Okay, you're fine, man. Like, just you're fine. Who cares? Don't worry about it, man. Like sometimes my presence, I think, makes him more like, I don't know, he gets anxious or he thinks like I'm going to be disappointed, which I've told him I'm never disappointed in anything you do, but I'm not hard on him, but I'm way harder on him than every other kid. And that's just kind of, and I've told him that. I'm like, hey man, like I got to be harder on you. I'm not going to sit here and yell at all these other kids, but I'm not really yelling at you, but I'm going to give you strong coaching because like, I can't let it be, it can't look like, hey, I'm just patting you on the butt and saying you're doing great and these other guys are doing terrible.
Yeah. I'm not going to yell at you, but if you play poorly, you don't get dinner. So just so you know,
I mean,
dinner's for winners.
It's common knowledge in Ohio for sure.
Yeah, one thing RJ said last week, we were talking about the good cop, bad cop between Gruden and Bradley, and RJ said, there's guys out there that say, yeah, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, and Gruden's just like, no, I'm pissed.
Yep. I'm mad and disappointed. I'm all the emotions.
I would love to, man. I think it would be fun. Like guys that get to play for Gruden, I think it would be fun. I've talked to guys; they enjoy it. They say, especially if you're like a vet too, if you do your job and you're a professional, they're like, he does not. He lets you be a professional. He treats you like a man, like a pro. It's like, man, I think it'd be fun to sit there and like every morning and think, okay, what's this guy got for us today when he comes in the team meeting room?
Yeah, when the Raiders give up that long play, blown coverage, guys wide open, missed a tackle, guy went like 60 yards. Gruden was screaming at every single guy coming off the field, and Bradley's like, "That's all right, guys. We'll work on it. We'll work on it." It's polar opposite.
You need that, right? Don't you need it? You need the guy that's going to build you up because the head guy might be tearing you down, and then he doesn't do anything behind the coach's back, but he just lets him know, "Hey, guys, just keep chipping away. We're going to be fine. Don't worry. Anyone's yelling at you, everyone's freaking out. We're good. Don't worry about it. Stay on your path."
Do you have all your coaching slogans down? You know what I mean? Like work hard, good stuff happens. Keep chipping away.
So many cliches out there. And
next play.
What I'm not going to do is say on the hop. Coach, come on the hop. For some reason, when I was a kid, that used to just, I would freak out and just start yelling. I would just, as I'm running to my next drill, just freaking out, yelling as loud as I could. Because on the hop, come on now, on the hop. It's just like when coaches don't know what to say. They just have to you have to talk. I'm like, you don't have to talk. Like good coaches, guys that are secure, they're not always talking, always clapping, always saying something. They coach when they need to coach.
Love it. Well, before we let you go, it has been digging at Soto since you first came on, like 9 months ago when you first came on the show. A question that he asked you, and his face has been red ever since. I think he's got what's called rosacea, whatever it is.
Whatever.
You have some sort of skin disorder because of how embarrassed you were. So he's been wanting to apologize to you for this is our 41st show. So for like 36 shows, this has been egging on. He brings it up at least once a week. So
I do not.
This is your chance to finally bury the hatchet and save face in front of AJ.
Okay. Everyone, all the listeners out there, for those of you who haven't seen the episode, go watch it. I asked Mr. Hawk a question that ended up blowing up in my face. So in my defense, I don't have any media background whatsoever. This is like the 5th show we've ever had. The first person I interview is a stud NFL player, like in the media, just everyone knows who he is. I'm like, all right, cool. So I gave RJ all my questions. RJ's like, give me all your questions. Make sure I'll tell you which ones you can ask. Cool. Mm-hmm. One of them was, okay, AJ, you were a stud player in Ohio at Ohio State. You're a stud player in Wisconsin at Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Who had the better chicks? AJ
Love
just sits back and just like, huh, that's a good question. As soon as he did that, I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. And then he says, oh, well, I was actually married going into my first training camp. And then my heart sunk. Like all the color came out of my face. I was like, oh, my God. So I want to tell you, Mr. AJ Hawk, I didn't know that you were married going into your first training camp. I wholeheartedly apologize. If I had known, I would have never asked. I would ask, what's your favorite cologne or something? Yeah. I wouldn't have asked anything like that. So my apologies.
Cologne.
I would have asked something totally different.
That would have been, yeah. What a better podcast it would have been if you would have asked me what my favorite cologne is, right? Hey, don't worry. Don't worry about it because I didn't think about it afterwards or even throughout the rest of when I talked to you. So I think it's a valid question. You just got to direct it to someone else. Probably that would give you a lot better answer. I didn't have anything for you, but you know what? If you have another player on, I think you should think about it and then ask that question. I think they may give you something very good.
But Soto, you might want to frame it a little better. Be like, hey, what was better? Cheating on your girlfriend in college or cheating on your wife in the pros? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what you wanted to ask, Soto. You got to come right out. You can't
that's
tiptoe
the hard
around the
stuff.
Tulips.
Yeah.
Always a pro, Mr. AJ Hawk.
Walters.
Check him on the Pat McAfee show. 5 days a week. It's on YouTube, Sirius XM. This is awesome, AJ. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks,
Always
AJ.
a pleasure.
Hey, thank you guys, and good luck to the Raiders this year. They're going to do great.
You sarcastic asshole.
Hopefully. I hope so. Their division's too good, man. Their division's really good.
So good.
I'm not saying the Raiders are bad.
And
Their division is just so good when I look around. The Raiders are getting better. So, yeah, we'll see, man. I think you should have some hope.
Dude, I was glad that when you were like, yeah, he's not going to the Broncos. Aaron Rodgers not going to the Broncos. I'm like, God damn, thank God.
Thank God. That's the one quarterback that isn't better than ours, and one team that may not. That hopefully can get last.
Fucking loaded, man.
It's brutal in the AFC West. Oh well.
This Justin Herbert kid too, man. God damn,
he's stud. I mean, there's so many young quarterbacks that are studs. It's pretty crazy how many good ones there are out there.
Yeah. Fearless kid, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
And a giant. He's a giant too.
Yeah, fuck him.
You see, like, look, I'm like, look, man, I just hope we play better than the guys. I hope we catch them on Sunday, whatever. Artie's like, no, I want him to break his knee. I want him to, break his back. I want
to get COVID like, just so I can use chemical warfare and like fly into the facility in LA here in San Diego and just start licking doorknobs and coughing on people. Darn. God. I'll do whatever it takes, man. I'm like you, Soto. I'll do whatever it takes.
Jeez, I'm sure you're in line. I'm sure your name's right on the top of the list to get a press pass to the Super Bowl this year, RJ.
Exactly. Right. I still got the outside chance. I'm still like keeping my slim hopes alive.
There you
go. All right. Well, thanks, AJ. This was great.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Man.
Thanks
for
guys.
coming on. Hey, Windbags, if you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes this season, don't be afraid to click those subscribe, like, share, and comment buttons. Plus, your comment could be featured in the next What Up Windbags.